In this video, we will use the double bucket method to determine the principal required to provide a variable income stream as situations change through retirement. When you sit down with a financial planner, one of the key questions to be answered is how much savings is needed given a specified desired income. If you believe in the 4% rule, that's pretty straightforward. You can take your desired income and divide by 4%, and that equals your principal. So in this scenario here, if your income is $40,000, divide by 4%, and that equals $1 million. However, what if your desired income varies from one year to the next or one period to the next? In this spreadsheet, we have an individual that requires roughly $100,000 a year in income up until age 85, and then at that point in time, they anticipate their income requirements to go down to $80,000 a year because their discretionary spending may go down at that time. Social Security is going to be delayed until age 70, so no Social Security is drawn out up until that point. They also anticipate bringing in some part-time income up at $20,000 a year up until age 75. One thing to note, these figures can all be in today's dollars because the double bucket method takes into account inflation when it does its calculations, so that makes things a little bit easier in the spreadsheet. We're also listing columns for non-uniform expenses and taxes. We're not including an amount right now just to keep the math a little bit simpler, but certainly when you do your spreadsheet, you will have to include those amounts. So that leaves us with a yearly withdrawal amount that we want to take out of our principal to meet the income requirement specified here. All right, so let's go to the website now and see how we can put this to practice. Okay, when you go to the website, which is the doublebucket.com, click on the Variable Annuity Calculator tab. We're going to assume that you've used this calculator before or that you've watched our basic series of videos. If not, you may want to do so after this video. At any rate, we've got an individual here retiring at age 65, termination age of 95, and we're going to lay out the income requirements from our spreadsheet. So from age 65 up to age 69, the income requirement was $80,000. Social Security hadn't kicked in yet, but there was a little part-time income. Then from age 70 to 75, that withdrawal amount went down to $50,000 because of Social Security kicked in. Next range was from 76 up to 85. The income requirement then went up to $70,000 because the part-time income went away. Final period was from 86 to 95, and income went back down to, or the withdrawal requirement went back down to $50,000 because discretionary spending decreased at that point in time. So we're going to go ahead and run the calculator now with those income requirements. We're going to just accept the defaults on all the time bucket allocations and click the compute annuity button. Let me go down. This is the annuity table, which I want to talk about, but let me show you first that we've estimated the principal requirement being a little bit over $1 million to satisfy our income specification up there. And then also we've generated this annuity table, which lays out your asset allocations during each year of retirement. And also it determines the double bucket income factor, and you simply take this factor and divide it into your principal to get your withdrawal amount each year. And what you'll notice, there'll be an inflection point at each one of our period transitions. Notice from age 69 to 70 that the DBIF changed quite a bit. You'll also see inflection points going from 75 to 76, and then from 85 up to, 85 to 86. Okay, so that's the annuity table. What we want to do now is take that annuity table and see how it's performed over all prior spans. So we're going to click on historical analysis. It'll take a few seconds for this data to generate, but what we're going to see are all spans, all 30-year spans starting in 1972 going up to the present time. And they're all going to start with our savings amount here of a little over $1 million. This first span goes from 1972 up to 2001. This first column of data here is the actual withdrawal amount. However, it's this next column, which is inflation adjusted withdrawal, which is the important one. And ideally, we want this to hover around our income requirements, which for those first 5 years was $80,000. Now you see that that did go down a little bit. The next period was supposed to be around 50,000, and that went down as well. And finally, we started recovering here a little bit during the third period, and that income requirement was 70,000. Eventually, we did meet that, and then the final period we did better than expected. The reason for the poor performance here early, though, is the high rate of inflation. There was about a 10-year period here where inflation averaged about 10%, and the market just didn't keep up. That will happen during some spans, and that's the way the double bucket is designed, is to react to the market so that you don't go too far down before completing your entire span. Now, the next couple spans will have some bad periods as well because of high inflation. However, if we go down a little bit further, we'll see some much better spans. These here in the middle 80s did really well. This span here from 84 for 30 years. It started at $80,000, dipped a little bit in the second year, but then it recovered nicely and was well above 80,000. At age 70, when we expected 50,000, we were above that, and it continued to do well throughout. What you'll notice is about 70 to 80% of the spans typically will do better than expected, and then 20 to 30% may do a little bit worse. However, keep in mind, though, they all do better than the 4% rule. Okay, so you can go ahead and look through this data at your own leisure. One of the nice things about the calculator now, though, is you can go back up and change your income requirements or age specifications to meet your own situation, and then run some experiments. And I encourage you to give it a try for your own situation now. Okay, this now concludes the demo. At this point in time, you may want to watch our basic series of videos or see some of the other applications of the double bucket method. Or just go to the website and see what else is available. Thank you for watching.